Hello everybody, it's ProbablyRed coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the Survivor faction, commons and uncommons. Okay, so we're going to start out with the bosses, which are all common. As I've said in the past, because you get one in every pack, they are considered common rarity. Now, let's see what we have here, starting with Blades Triumphant. And quick note, for those of you who have seen my Survivor faction set review, the audio was a bit messed up on that, so I'm glad that I'm redoing it. There are going to be some overlap, but I mean, what I'm trying to do is basically kind of inside baseball here, but basically I'm just trying to make sure that all of Founders Edition is covered in this set review, or this like refreshed series of the set reviews. So, and I found out like via a little bit of like recording testing and stuff, the best way for me to do it is go commons and uncommons and then do rares and mythics. And then I do plan on doing a tier list at some point, but more on that later. Like I still want to play like with the cards and stuff more, like play test them a bit beforehand, like before I do a tier list, because I want to kind of like actually feel what the game plays like and kind of get that. But these are sort of like first impression tier list and reading the cards and going over the possibilities. Anyways, back to it. So this is Blades Triumphant. Okay, so she has 16 health, and she has the subtype of warrior. She's got attack cost of 3 and 3 attack damage. When Blades attacks, if you have 3 or more fighters on your team, draw a card. Okay, excellent. Already getting that card advantage in. So we're also kind of seeing what Blades is about. She wants your team to go wide, have a bunch of units out there, and then just draw more cards so you can play more fighters and keep that going. Okay, and then she also has a second ability here. You can pay 4 tokens and tap. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 fighters and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in a random order. Okay. So, wow. All right. So, that ability is obviously much more effective in a deck that's extremely heavy on fighters. And then you're getting an extra card. There's a little bit of risk involved if you're running, a certain amount of tactics and responses and weapons. But if not, that's giving you opportunity to basically draw 2 cards. You're missing out on the attack trigger, which is still going to cost you 3 tokens. But I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, so like no matter what she's doing, like even if you don't necessarily want to attack anything in particular, it can give you 2 fighters. Wow. Okay. And it kind of like makes sure that you're gonna like in the rare case that you like see just tactics and responses, at least you know that like soon you're gonna have more fighters to draw. Really cool. Okay. So like the attack is kind of expensive and the second ability is pretty expensive, but since you're drawing cards, it's adding in that cost to these attacks slash abilities. She's gonna be really good at refueling your board, basically, is what it seems like. Yeah, and consistently making sure you're keeping up with the levels by having fighters of that level in play. Keeping up with the stats, and as you keep having more and more tokens, you'll still get to attack with her and use your other stuff. And like the difference between using her as an attack and getting the extra 3 damage versus getting an extra fighter card could just be dependent on how many tokens you plan to spend that round. So you could actually hold off on using Blades for a minute, or use her early if you've already like kind of counted out and decided, and kind of like get more access to more fighters. And that could also change the math, but at that point it would be too late. But wow, this seems like it's going to be very fun, very cool boss to run, and it just wants you to progress the board. Okay, I really really like this art. He's like a rhino gladiator. Amazing. and I love all the armor and stuff. Really cool. Okay, so Monsoor Mayhem. I mean, I'm not like, I mean, look at this. The survivors, they're all really cool. Okay, they're all really cool. But I mean, this is by far out of the three my like number one pick for art. Go Steve Ellis. He did great on all three of these, but this is my favorite. And he's just like charging down the train. Good lord. Summer just says no. Wow. Okay, cool. So, 18 health, monstrosity of a boss here with the Berserker subtype. Okay, Monsoor Mayhem has an attack cost of 4, which is intense. If you saw my Mystic set review, you'll see that there's a card in there that I think is particularly good with him. And oh gosh, now I have to look. Well, you'll see in that set review. But just to kind of give you an idea, it kind of reduces that attack cost to a lot lower. Just to kind of give you a hint of what card I'm talking about. Oh, man, I want to find out the card, so I'm giving you all the accurate information here. But still, watch that video too. But let's see if we can find it. I think it was an uncommon. We're going to just quickly go through the cards here and see if we can find it. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset this real quick. And then Flex. Yeah, Flex. I feel like this is going to be a deck I want to build. Like Monsoor Mayhem as the boss, and then Flex Accelerator, reducing his attack cost so he can get in like early, like as level 3. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just amazing. And then still have plenty more tokens to spend, and she could attack too. And then just like keep refueling your hand through other cards and stuff. Okay, so Monsoor's attack damage is equal to the number of cards in your hand. And then also you can pay 2 tokens and tap Monsoor Mayhem to reveal cards from the top of your deck and to reveal a weapon. Then put it into your hand. So this is just going to... Okay, so you can't equip weapons to Monsoor Mayhem. But with that... yeah, but that's going to give you other units. Like some of your low-cost units are going to have strong attack values too when combined with weapons. That can be kind of crazy. I think it's just cool to be able to take an attack cost of 4 and reduce it to 1. That just seems like an amazing synergy there. So yeah, he does synergize with weapons and stuff. Reveal top card cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a weapon. So he's gonna just like have that early game. He's just gonna be drawing you weapon after weapon, and you don't even have to have that many weapons. It just depends on like what the max number of times you think you're gonna use that ability throughout the course of a game, and kind of figuring that out, and what the optimal number is before you start attacking with Monsoor. I mean, you could probably have as few as like maybe 3 or 4 weapons and just hope you don't draw them all in the beginning, and then you can't even trigger the that ability. But still, yeah, and with Mystic, there's a couple of those weapons that draw you cards. That would be really cool with Monsoor Mayhem. I think if one draws you a card and one like lets you play a card from the top, you'd want the one that draws you a card. I need to see what that is too. The Mystic Faction weapon. I think it's a rare, isn't it? Is this the one that draws you a card? No, that's not what we're looking for. Yeah, these two. This is Reveal, and you can play it. This is the one. You want the Dog-Eared Passage. I think that would be really good with Monsoor Mayhem. Basically, it's letting you gain... Wait. It's hard for me to remember this. I keep forgetting you can't equip... And it doesn't matter. You could equip it to somebody else. Yeah, that doesn't even matter. Yeah, you equip it to your other stuff. You find this and equip it to your other stuff. Yeah, then they're getting stealthy and drawing stuff. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't matter that you can't equip it to him. Still, really cool. Yeah. Okay. So what were we talking about here? That's Monsieur Mayhem. I like that he's got that 18 health and he's got an ability that can kind of get you a little bit of card advantage as he builds up to being able to attack. And there's other cards that can kind of synergize with that, drawing you cards since they're weapons to refuel your hand. Really awesome. Okay. So now our last boss here for the Survivor faction, we've got Sky, Unlikely Champion. So he has 17 health, 3 attack, sorry, 3 attack costs for 2 attack damage, and he is the Warrior subtype. When Sky is attacked, he gains agility this level. Okay, so don't want to attack him or he's coming back with a vengeance. And then Sky's attack cost is reduced by 1 token for each Survivor fighter on your team. Wow. Okay, so similar, like that 3 number is like with Blade, she's going to be getting you card advantage. With Sky, he's going to be reducing for your Survivor fighters. Wait, does Blades even say Survivor? Yeah, Blades is a little bit more versatile. 1, she's getting a card advantage, and 2, it can be any type of fighter, not just Survivor. So he's like your survival, like your Survivor specific boss. Yeah, and then like I said in the other video, just because you have 3 doesn't mean like you can't play more. I just hope they don't derail and board clear, right? But you can have more so that in the round, like they don't suddenly like attack, your units and reduce the number of them, and then your attack becomes more expensive again. Okay, so then Sky can also pay 3 tokens and tap to reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a fighter and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in a random order. So it kind of takes elements. This guy kind of takes elements from Monsieur Mayhem and Blades. But he's drawing you fighters instead of weapons. Okay. So, yeah. Definitely seems like an interesting blend of the two. Like he's very... Wow, that's pretty cool. This would be a really fun one to play, too. I kind of see what they're going for. They want you to have lots of units. Monster Mayhem's more about like cards in hand and gathering weapons, but I can see similarities between Blades and Sky, even though they kind of do their thing in their own unique way. Very cool. Okay, so we got Skell, Nimble Adversary. Okay, so this is a level 1, 2 health fighter from the Herald's subfaction. 0 attack cost for 1 attack damage. Okay, good deal. Comes out early, comes out swinging. And then we've got a flavor text here because this is a vanilla card, even though that 1 attack cost kind of makes it, pretty unique. Especially at level 1. Like it's kind of having a 0 attack cost is kind of like having an ability. But Hot Mike says, the Heralds so far down, they're not even on the subway map. Real low class. Oh, yeah, he definitely doesn't like the Heralds. And it looks like he is lit a Molotov cocktail of some sort or some kind of other incendiary object and is preparing to toss it. Not to mention he's got 2 knives. Wow. Okay, so don't mess with Skell. Next up, I just think it's good to have now before we move on. I think it's good to have those early units, and I think Skell, like despite being a vanilla unit, has like pretty darn good stats. The health is like just like a stiff breeze takes him out, but he kind of provides his own stiff breeze by dealing that 1 damage every turn, ping, 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 all over the place, hitting units to kind of take them down. Yeah. And he can take out like 1 health token things too. Okay, next. We've got Turner, Strap Hanger. Okay, so Turner is a level 1. And they are from the Van Houten faction. One of my favorite factions, which is kind of came to surprise me. I really like in like the circus element and stuff. Very cool. But they have 2 health, 1 attack cost, and 1 attack damage. And when Turner enters play, put a +1 attack counter on target survivor fighter. Okay, so Turner can put this on themselves, and then you've got a 1 attack, a 2 health, 1 attack cost, and 2 attack damage on level 1 that you can attack with that level. Just to kind of get in 2 damage and take out whatever they played had 2 or less health. So pretty awesome there. And otherwise, you have that synergy, especially if you're playing in a deck with Mystics. You have like that +1 attack synergy. If you're playing with synths, you have that enhanced, I think is what it's called, synergy, where like they have to be fortified, +1 attack counter, or with a weapon attached. And that's I think that's pretty meaningful to just have that early in the game, that ability to interact with those synergies. And I think this might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite, of the 1-drops, especially from the Survivor faction. Just saying. I love the contrast of like the pink and the yellow in the background. I think it's like really interesting way to do a clown character, because like their outfit's kind of zany, but it's also kind of businessy too. It looks like some kind of like suit pants, so like they can move around pretty versatilely. Like, but they kind of got tucked into their like combat boots. I mean, just amazing. Just like a 10 out of 10. They got a bucket of what appears to be acid, and they don't even like mind a little bit of it splashing on their hand, or almost. Definitely a dangerous survivor here. Zani, nobody's fool. Level 1, 1 health, 1 attack cost, and 1 attack damage. Another Van Houten member, and Zani, nobody's fool, can't be attacked. Just can't attack them. They just will survive as long as you want. And just in case you do want them to be attacked, you have a response, 1 token cost, tap, and block. Amazing. So if you need it in an emergency situation, you can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, everybody is an enforcer for Zani. Excellent card. Very, very cool. And I love the artwork. So amazing work, Crisscross. Amazing work. Okay. Okay. So we got Bobby Brushbacks. And I don't. Okay, so they're called the Steeple Chasers. That's their sub-faction. And they seem to be themed around like sports, or maybe like specifically like baseball style play. So this is a new one. I really like the aesthetic here. It's really cool. I like that he's got like this spiked like survivor armor thing on his thigh, and that kind of like complements the cleats with the very sharp spikes on them. I like this whole aesthetic that they have going here. Very interesting, very unique. Um, and then "Go Home" is written on the side of the like sidewalk where this, or the platform, which kind of like makes you think of like a home run, but also like it's like probably talking to like the synths or the shifters or all these things that have appeared, like crawling from the wreckage. So let's see what Bobby Brushbacks has for us and what the Steeple Chasers are all about. So a level 2 fighter here with 3 health, 1 attack cost, and 1 attack. And then Bobby Brushbacks has Determination. So if he would die and he doesn't have a +1 attack counter, instead set him to 1 health and give him a +1 attack counter. So even after you take him out, he gets stronger, which is really cool. So your opponent's turn, they take out Bobby, 1 attack cost, swinging in for 2. Awesome. And then to make sure that kind of move happens, he has a response. For 1 token and tap, he can block at response speed. Amazing. So, I mean, this is a pretty solid seeming level 2 card. Good stats, an excellent trait, nice response uh, ability. Yeah, I mean, this seems solid. This seems like definitely a nice playable card. I think Determination is going to be a really good ability. Just oops, I bumped the mic. But yeah, I think it's going to. I think this is going to be a good card. We'll have to learn more about these steeplechasers, but like so far, like the aesthetics and like the themes of the different groups of these like arena teams or these arena gangs, really cool, really cool. Steeplechasers is definitely moving up there for me with the Van Hootens. Really, really interesting. Okay, so and this is, I mean, she has kind of that aesthetic, but these are the heralds, and we've seen Chirp before in a couple of the videos, but we're going to go ahead and see what Chirp does. One thing I really like about Chirp is it's level 2, health 2, attack cost 2, and attack damage 2, and her ability costs 2 tokens. Tap and put 2+1 attack counters on target survivor. So she can just one time, like if she doesn't want to keep using this ability, she can just, and there's nobody else out there, just go ahead and buff herself up to make it a 2 attack cost for 4 attack. But putting it on herself is kind of dangerous because of that 2 health. So she could just keep helping out teammates, making them more of a threat so they don't want to prioritize Chirp, or if they do, they're going to get hit by that attack. Excellent card design here. Once again, I think this is, and I think that the Mystic faction really, really, with those +1 counter synergies, just would go great with survivors. Okay, so let's see. We got another Van Houten here. Lyra, Silken Assassin. So Lyra is a level 3, and she's got 3 health, 2 attack cost, and 2 attack. And if Lyra is revealed from your deck, draw a card. Okay, so we saw a couple of cards. I think we've seen a couple of cards that do this reveal from the deck thing. So you would just draw, yeah. So you reveal her. Trying to figure out one good example. But yeah, like if you just reveal her from the deck, you would draw her. So, and then she has her next ability is a response, 0 cost block. You just tap, block. So yeah, it seems really awesome. It seems like kind of an interesting card. It gives you a little bit more of that card advantage because you kind of just draw her for free just with your other reveal abilities. So it's like any reveal ability, if you see Lyra in the deck, you'd want to run a playset of her just to like, especially if you have that like amount of revealing abilities. Let's see. So yeah, if you reveal her with Blade's ability here, yeah, you would get to reveal her, put her into your hand, and then draw a card because of Lyra's ability. That seems really good. Like, I mean, that's just a straight up great synergy right there between those two. Excellent. She's throwing like ninja stars or shuriken. I don't know if these would count as shuriken, but she's like also wearing the shuriken. So she's just like grabbing them and throwing them. Interesting. I don't know if it has to have like a certain shape to be a shuriken, but I think they're shuriken. And then we mentioned that the Mystics would make a good teammate to the Survivors. Well, let's see what Peacebook thinks about that. So Peacebook is the living legend. He's a level 3 fighter with the Artist subtype. He's got 3 health, 2 attack cost, and 2+ attack. So when he comes out, he's stealthy, so he can't be attacked the level he enters play. And then also, Peacebook gets +1 attack when attacking Mystics. Okay, so he might not necessarily agree. but he seems to like be a specialist in fighting spirits, or at least fighting magic users. And he is like a living mosaic with all of that artwork on him. Wow. There's a lot of art here too. Interesting. There's like a little, I don't know, it's like a alien or something. Let's get some interesting earrings here. Yeah, he's ready for battle. Okay, moving on. So that's kind of like a piece that you would use maybe as like a sideboard card, but I mean you're gonna find mystics like when you're playing. It's gonna happen. But then you have to ask yourself, like in the case that doesn't happen, is a level 3 with 3 health, 2 attack costs, and 2 base attack worth it? But definitely against mystics, having that stealthy might push him to the point where he's playable. And then, of course, if you do it in pack battle, he's really good. Next, we've got Constance, and she is from she's represented in the art for Cash Money. So she's a level 5, and her subtype is Recruiter. So Constance Fight Recruiter is she got 3 health, 2 attack cost, 2 attack. And when she enters play, she gains 1 health for each other fighter on your team. So similar to Blades and Sky, Constance wants to play in a deck where you have a lot of fighters in play, basically. And then she's going to just be like very hard to remove fighter. So then there's certain cards. I'm trying to think of the name of the card that does damage based on like the highest health among fighters you have. I don't know if I don't think that's in Survivors, but that would go really well with this card. I feel like it's a Mystic card. I could be wrong. But yeah, that seems like it would go extremely well with Constance because you can get her health up to like very high numbers, and then just like decimate something. And I think it could target bosses too. Maybe it's a shifter card. I'm not sure. But yeah, like having that with Constance would be really good. I'm trying to think of other ways. Like, if you have her with F with me ammo, there would be the like Head Rat. That's an extra fighter that he just generates. But honestly, I think she would play really well with Blades or Sky because they already have stuff that synergizes with having a lot of fighters. Yeah. Interesting. The 2 attack cost 2 attack isn't great, but if you have enough health, it's not going to matter because you're going to still be able to get those attacks in while your opponent's trying to dwindle you down. Okay, we got another vanilla fighter here. Willie B. Newcomer, level 5, and he is from the Herald's faction as well. And he has got in his gauntlets some sort of like razor blades or glass or something. Yeah, and he kind of looks like he is a wrestler of some sort. So he's got 5 health, 1 attack cost, and 2 attack damage. And his flavor text says, Hot Mike says, even if Brooklyn wasn't destroyed in the Cataclysm, there is no way to get there to here. Get from there to here. And Willie B is a liar if he says that's where he came from. Interesting. So what is Willie B? Like, where's he actually from? If not from Boston. Okay, this is one of my favorite of the fighters here, especially in the high coster ones. Just Elias Protector. So he's a level 6 with 6 health. Oh, and he's from the Heralds as well. So I wonder if he's kind of got like a train hat. So maybe he's like a train mechanic. I don't know. But he's 6 health, 1 attack cost, and then 2 plus attack. And he's got Enforcer, so this must always be attacked before another boss or fighter on your team if able. And Just Elias gets +1 attack if he has 3 or less health. So really solid 1 attack cost for 3 damage. And that Enforcer ability kind of makes sure he gets there before he gets an attack in. But he's just got a nice amount of health. 6 health is really good, I think. From what we've seen, I think that's really good. Might not have anything on constants depending on your board state, but I think this is pretty solid. Okie dokie. So now we're on to the common tactics and responses and weapons and stuff. Okay. So this is Decisive Victory. It's a 2 token cost tactic. And you got Murder Countess in the art here, surrounded by what looks like, what do they call them? It's what the faction Skell is from. The Heralds, I just mentioned. Yeah, he's from Heralds too. Okay. So it looks like Heralds are trying to take out Murder Countess. And then it says deal damage to target fighter equal to the number of bosses and fighters on your team. So once again, this is, I talked about in one of my previous videos about how, this kind of goes over the top of like the potential damage you could deal with a fighter for the most part without like +1 attacks, weapons, and this is all happening on 1 card. It is 1 use though, unless you have something that gets you your tactics back, like a Sword from Nowhere. But if this goes to a boss, you just had your round of all your units, hopefully with lower attack costs, just attacking into the boss if you can. If not, like maybe there was an Enforcer. But either way, if you might want to play this but right after you get finished playing all your fighters for that turn, and then just wait to hold off your attacks and get it in there 1 big hit. Maybe take out a unit that's going to be a problem that hasn't attacked yet, or potentially just take out the enemy boss. That's going to make a pretty intense amount of damage. Yeah. This seems like it could be really good. Good piece of removal. Nice that it can be used as burn. Really cool card. Okay, now we have Don't Bury Me. This is a response, and it costs 1 token. Really interesting. I really like how they did this art. I was confused at first as to what was happening, but it kind of makes sense. She's like waking up out of like this, it looks like sewer water of some sort, and saying, "Yo, I'm still alive. Don't kill me. Like stop what you're doing." And it says target boss or fighter heals 3. So basically they're coming back to life. And you also, even better, you remove all -1 attack counters from that fighter. If a counter was removed this way, draw a card. So it kind of requires you to be playing against a faction that's giving you -1 attack counters, or stuff that gives you -1 attack counters on your own stuff, like your own like fighters, like for some reason. Otherwise it's like just a 1 cost heal 3, which this is better than Stay Hydrated, actually, just straight up. It gives you like a very niche, but I would say very real benefit. Like it's not all the time you're going to be fighting where the -1 attack counters are going to be what your opponent's using. But if that is the case, this is just, either way, it's better than Stay Hydrated, because it could target a boss, it could target a fighter, and it heals 3 instead of 2. It just seems really good. I think this is, unless like for some reason I just so misrated how healing works that like you're running a play set of 3 Don't Bury Me's and a play set of 3 Stay Hydrateds, but this just seems a lot better. Yeah, I think this might be like actually quite playable. That is a big health swing. They're going in for the kill and then suddenly they're not. Okay. Next up, we have another response here. Rally Up. They're catching a whatchamacallit. sewer cover, and then something is being blasted at them. Similar style. What is that? That Monsewer Mayhem might be who's throwing it, or could be somebody else. I'm not sure, because it seems like in their artwork they have like a giant cover that could be a sewer shield or sewer drain. But target fighter gains determination this level. And like we said before, with determination, that means if they would die without a +1 attack counter, instead set their health to 1 and give them a +1 attack counter. And if the chosen fighter is a survivor, draw a card. So this kind of like cycles you through while giving you a pretty decent ability. And you can do it as soon as they would need it. So you use it on something that's about to get, killed, and then give them determination out of nowhere and draw a card. Yeah, this seems good. This seems really good. I think this is better than Don't Bury Me, in my opinion. Yeah, from my impressions. And then we got Scrap Shield. You got Mr. Purple here. And it's a 1 energy cost, or 1 token cost response. Stop target boss or fighter attack. And if your opponent really set up an attack for that turn, it seems pretty good. I wonder, like, when it says stop target boss or fighter attack, does that cancel any, like, when this fighter attacks or when this boss attacks ability? Because I don't know. They already attacked. That would be an interesting question. So let's go ahead and say, does Scrap Shield stop when attacking? Okay. But I mean, this could really, if it does stop the when attacking ability, which I don't think it's going to, that would be really nice, because like if they like have something that's like really gonna mess up your plans, or something that's gonna get them a lot of card advantage, then you're gonna want to be able to cancel that. But either way, just like if they're swinging in for 4, you can just like make your unit live by not letting that hit. So it seems pretty strong to me. And it's a 1 cost. There's a one we're about to come up on. Speaking of Stay Hydrated, that's not the one I was talking about, but we'll come up on one I think is a bit better than this. So once again, this is the same thing as Don't Bury Me, but 1 less effect and no potential side effect draw ability. Even costs the same amount. Okay. So Stay Hydrated costs 1 token, and target boss or fighter gets 2 health at response speed. Wow. Okay, I don't think this is as good as Don't Bury Me, but I think it's if that effect is really strong, then this might make it too. Okay, so let's see our last common here before we get on to uncommons. We've got a level 3 weapon here, Sky Axe Restored. And then it's got 2 wield cost and then +2 attack. It just enters wield into a fighter. That's as simple as that. Yeah. So you go ahead and plop it down on turn 3 and pick something you want to attach it to. And then, if you have to move it, 2 coins. Seems solid, especially like if you're, since you're playing survivors, maybe you don't have access to as many weapons that you're looking for. This gives you another option. It's just a solid, basic weapon. Okay. So then we go to uncommon. Okay. So uncommons, we've got another Steeplechaser here. And every time I see Steeplechaser, I don't really know what Steeplechaser is, like out of the context of like Adventure Zone, because Is that what I'm thinking? Steeplechase? Isn't that one of the Adventure Zone things? I don't think I listened to that one. Or might have. It's just been a while. Anyways, I gotta go. Well, I could do that on my own time. Sorry. I was thinking, if you're out there, check out what steeplechase means, because I don't know what it means. Let me write that down. Anyways, let's get onto the card here. Now we're on the uncommons. And he, this is Squatch, Fearsome Slugger. And he's a level 1 with 3 health, already a good sign. 1 attack cost with 1+ attack. And Squatch gets +1 attack when attaching, when attacking mystics. So that's another one, another unit, or another fighter. Him and Peacebook both are strong against them. And then mystics get -1 attack when attacking Squatch. So increased survivability against the mystics. This would, if you have sideboards, this is definitely a sideboard card to have. And even if not, I mean, it's not like the craziest stat line, but I mean, level 1 with 3 health, 1 attack, and or 1 attack cost and 1 attack isn't like that bad. Maybe run a few just in case you run into mystics in a like discard deck or in a survivor filtering deck where you're just getting so many survivors. It might be nice to have something like this. And I love that he's got 3 baseball bats like tied together with barbed wire as his club. Incredible. Okay, so now we have our second uncommon here, Astuta, Signal Savant. Okay, so she's another steeplechaser here. And she's got 3 health, 1 attack cost, 1 damage. Okay. And other survivor fighters on your team get +1 attack. This is like a friend to Sky for sure. So Sky wants you to have a lot of units out, a lot of fighters out, you know what I mean? And this just buffs them all. So it makes all of those token costs spent worth more and more with every attack you take. Seems really solid. Like just perfect. Like that can definitely increase your damage output on the level. Maybe not necessarily level 2. It's going to do it a little bit, but really good. And she also can attack if you need her to. Okay, so moving on to our next card here, Hot Mike Slay by Slay. He's a level 3 with 4 health. Okay, so Hot Mike has an attack cost of 2 and deals 2 attack damage, and his subtype is Announcer. So you play with the top card of your deck revealed. And we were just mentioning a second ago, and I heard this on the podcast, an interesting interaction between Lyra and so Lyra, Silken Assassin, and Hot Mike. As soon as you play Hot Mike, if you reveal the top card of your deck and it's Lyra, you just get to draw her. And it also says you could play tactics or responses from the top of your deck. So that is, I mean, the attack ratio of 2 attack cost to 2 attack doesn't seem that good off the rip. Maybe 4 health is a bit low, but it's not as bad as it could be. But those 2 abilities seem amazing. Really, really like this card. The art is so fun. Okay, so we got Trouble Forerunner. Okay, he's got some type of like, I guess they're kind of like batons, but they're gargantuan. He's giving me Cable vibes. And he has broken through a wall with it. He's from the Redacted subfaction. So level 3, 4 health, 2 attack, 2 attack damage, and attack costs and activated abilities of all other bosses and fighters cost 1 token more to activate. Wow. Okay. And when Trouble defeats a fighter, you gain 2 tokens? Whoa. So that can keep fueling him to attack again and again, but he needs some way to gain agility to do it twice. Yeah, I mean, if you have a bunch of units they can keep attacking and attacking. Yeah. So I mean, every round you could try to get. Just trying to backpedal a little bit. I was just forgot about tapping as a mechanic to attack. Yeah, but like, if you have a bunch of units, which is kind of what survivors seem like that what they want to do, then this becomes even more amazing because you just keep you gain those 2 tokens. It seems like it's a good resource generator. Otherwise, I mean, the stats aren't super crazy good, but he does reduce the attack cost and activate abilities of your other bosses and fighters. No, yeah, he increase, yeah, so that's gonna help kind of protect. Yep, it'll protect you from their abilities and their attacks because then they're gonna have less stuff to spend. But it does kind of affect your stuff too, huh? Okay, interesting. Okay, so now we've got Flank Pack Leader. Okay, so he's a level 4 survivor from the Van Houten sub-faction. He's got 3 health, 3 attack costs, and 1 plus attack. So what's the plus? Flank gets +1 attack for each other fighter on your team. Flank cannot be attacked if there are 4 or more fighters on your team. So it's the second ability is kind of like a mini version of the see you later alligator, where they need 5 for this to happen. But this isn't a boss. This is a actual fighter. So you can kind of like secure him as this big heavy attacker if you have a bunch of attackers already. Okay, so I mean, it's really cool that he's got this protection ability, but it's also fun because it gives that tension. Oh, they're plucking away at all my fighters that I've played down, and it's getting close to where Flank Pack Leader with his 3 HP could be taken out in one hit if they remove just 1 or 2 more fighters. I got to figure out a way to get more fighters out there, or I really got to go ahead and get Flank to attack, and get some attacking damage in before he gets wiped out. Or even like I need to buff him up with some type of, well, I guess you can't fortify him because he's not a synth, but maybe give him armor with makeshift shield. There you go. But I mean, the attack cost is heavy, but the potential is high. Just on like a floor level, stats are terrible. But if you have at least 1 fighter, it's 3 for 2. Really, it doesn't get. I mean, you need him and 3 other fighters, and that's kind of when he gets good enough to take out. Until then, he's just kind of a distraction for your opponent. They're like, oh, okay, I got to take it a couple swings or maybe 1 swing at flank to take him out before he gets strong. But once you have him strong, they can't even do that. They got to take out your other stuff first, which is pretty interesting. Okay, I have mentioned before that I am very fond of this card. The art is totally sick. I like it. Part of the reason I like the Van Houten faction, I love the Knuckles, Okay, so this is Hard Knocks. He's a level 4, 2 health, 2 attack cost, 2 attack. Not the greatest stats, but there's a catch. When he enters play, destroy target opposing fighter with 2 or less health. So essentially it comes in, it's sort of like dealing 2 damage to something, but it gets behind armor. It gets behind Enforcer. It's like a burn spell on a stick. You get this fighter with, maybe this would be better as like a 1 cost, but you're kind of stapling it to a 3 cost that is like a 2 damage spell that destroys, gets through armor, does 2 damage. That's what he does. I mean, it seems pretty good. It's kind of like you're getting the 2-for-1 if you take something out, and then they have to invest to take this out where they didn't take something else out instead. It's also kind of like he gets two tokens for free by, I mean, this is kind of a stretch, but because his attack costs 2 and he's basically attacking when he enters, it's like you're getting the first attack for free where it could have cost 2 tokens. Okay, we got Lacey, Bonesaw Healer. Whew, I don't want my doctor coming at me with that. All right, level 5. She's got 5 health, 2 attack costs, and 2 attack damage. She's from the Van Houten faction, so it looks like she's going to be sawing somebody in half. When Lacey enters play, roll a 6-sided die. If it is 3 or lower, put a +1 attack counter on each fighter on your team. If it is 4 or higher, all fighters on your team gain 1 health. Wow. Okay, yeah, this is fine. This is a great doctor. Half the time they, heal you. Half the time they give you an attack buff. That sounds pretty solid. So one thing is you kind of want to make this to where you're not at the mercy of, variance, RNG, chance. You want to make it so that heal is just as good for you as that +1 attack buff. You don't want to have the heal. You want to be able to take a plus attack. So weirdly, you're going to hope to play this after a turn where you've taken a couple of hits, or set it up in a way to where you have blockers and then later played enforcers to absorb some of that damage, and you got a little bit of damage on everything. It doesn't heal bosses, so keep that in mind. But you want to have a little bit of damage spread out as you place blockers out and all that stuff. Or even units that damage themselves if you're playing Ryle with Shifter and stuff, that kind of sort of thing. Additionally, you're going to want to play it early in the turn, if possible, to where you can take advantage of those +1 attack counters. I mean, it could go in a deck that's like Survivor Mystic to get more advantage of that plus attack counter, but you're most definitely going to want to have it in a deck that's got block and enforcer. Really cool card. Really, really cool card. Okay, Mr. Purple. No criticism to Andre Garcia, but that art freaks me out. Okay, so Mr. Purple is level 6. He's got 5 health, 2 attack cost, 3 attack, and he's also from the Van Houten. Let me just clarify. He kind of gives me like Freddy Krueger vibes. I think it's the hat. Yeah, that's got to be it. Anyways, he has a response. For 2 tokens and tap, your team heals 1. So it's a level, I know we just talked about Lacey, but that's what it you kind of had me thinking about that. A level higher, same health, better attack ratio, and the heal is guaranteed, but you can't attack the same turn you heal, and because this comes in and just does it. But this is repeatable, and you get to choose when you do it as a response. I think that this is nice for but then you get the plus attack potential. It's kind of like you'd want to value it like half your team gets +1 attack and half your team heals. That's like your total value, because it's going to do one of those things and kind of rate that like that. This heals your whole team. It's hard. Maybe these cards could go in the same deck, because if you have those blockers and enforcers, it'd be good to have Mr. Purple to heal them if you keep blocking, absorbing those attacks, and spreading the damage how you want. All right. I don't know why I went so quickly through Mr. Purple, but yeah, like it seems pretty nice. The versatility of choosing when to heal. This card is very, very interesting. I'm excited to try to play with this one. Gives me like run away together vibes, but also like I don't know what it's called. I'm thinking silence, but it's not silence. Silence is you can't cast any spells, but like stuff that it's like I think there's like a 3-drop that in Magic that returns something to your hand and can't be cast this turn. Let me just give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can find it. I know we're going on a side tangent here, but return to hand can't be cast, and it's a Zorius. It's gonna be like 20 cards. Oh no, Reflections Major. Yep, that's what I was looking for. I want it in English though. How did I accidentally get on the? Let's see if. Well, maybe not TCG player. Let's. What is this name in English? Oh, I got it in Dutch mode. That was German. My bad. Reflector Mage. Okay. So Reflector Mage, just to kind of compare these two cards, just the effect. I know this is a tactic and this is a creature, different. But it's one white, blue, so 3 mana total. And then when Reflector Mage enters, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. That creature's owner can't cast spells with the same name as that creature enters your next turn. And it kind of reminds me of like if you combine Reflector Mage with Runaway together. Yeah, I did mean Runaway together. My bad. Yeah. Okay. So you got I like this art with the zombie and the Zorius Mage, which kind of fits because I was just talking about but yeah, choose 2 creatures controlled by difficulty. So that's what I'm thinking like the vibe of this card is. So somewhere in there, that's going to be, and of course it's a different game, so how it plays out is going to be different too. But let's read the card now. 1 token cost tactic, Fluorescent Fall. That's the name of the card. Return target fighter on your team and target opposing fighter to their owner's hands. Owner's hand? Owner's hands? Fighters with those names can't be replayed this level by those players. Boom. So it's like Reflector Mage, Runaway together. Maybe she was the never mind. Okay, moving on. But like, yeah, they're combined anyways. So that seems pretty good. I mean, it kind of sucks that you can't play your fighter that turn, but it would, I mean, then your opponent could just play theirs for free. Since your fighters are locked by level instead of by resources, you could just play them for 0. It's just making sure it's not there right now. There's another, like, we know return to hand effects can be pretty powerful, like against certain scenarios. +1 attack counters, fortify, it unwields weapons, destroys tokens, even though the tokens are either going to disappear at the end of the turn or aren't super powerful anyways. I mean, Bear Trap technically could, end the game for you if you attack it and you have no other options. And I mean, a 0 attack cost rat could also do that, but you can get around that with Enforcer. But I mean, this is, so yeah, like, it's got a lot of things it can do. Additionally, it can just say, no, you're not going to attack me with Max Homicide King this turn because he's in your hand. And the thing that had 1 health left is now in my hand, and when I play it again, I'll get its enter the battlefield effect again. That's a little bit Christmas landy, but that's kind of the situations you're looking for if you're going to be playing this. I think it's cool. Would love to see this in a pack, and would love to play test this. That's a fun uncommon. Okay. I have a lot to say about this card, and I've been saying it for a while. I freaking love this card. Cash money. Response speed, 1 token, you gain 3 tokens. This card is busted. Probably. Probably very much so. And I know like it can be like easy to say, oh, this card's busted and this one too. I think this is like a 9 out of 10 out of 10. Yeah. It is highly dependent on how good weapons are, um, and how good responses and tactics are, because that's one of the ways that this is kind of your resources. But you still need tokens to attack. So if you want to attack with another fighter, but you can't, this can help you do that. And it can also make you get crazy good responses out early. Like if you have 2 of these, you can play 2, or you could play a 5-drop tactic. That's pretty cool. That seems crazy. It can help you attack with your boss on turn 1, even though a lot of bosses need setup, but maybe not. Early with a shifter survivor deck, use this and then attack with Charlotte and take out their 1-drop, hopefully. And then just get their activated ability and maybe a +1 attack buff. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's just a couple of the uses. It does everything. It doesn't really like accelerate your level, but it does accelerate your resources. I mean, since you're getting 3 of them for the cost of 1, the closest thing is Dark Ritual, but Dark Ritual helps you cast creatures too, so there's that. But Dark Ritual can't help you attack, because attacking is what's locked behind your tokens. This lets you attack. It's hard to distinguish between the two without like playing with it. So, okay. This card is Mystery Meat, and I think it's subtly powerful. 2 token cost response. Target boss or fighter gains agility this turn. So they're attacking something else. They're like, oh, that thing can attack. I'll just destroy it later. Boom. After they attack, you give one of your fighters or boss agility, and you attack again even though it's tapped down. And then additionally, if it's a survivor, you reduce its attack cost by 1 this level. So you kind of don't want it like on something that's already attacked. If you can do it on something that hasn't attacked and it's the one you wanted to target, like you play in this after their first attack, then you're going to get that token reduction twice, as long as it survives to your next opportunity. But I mean, so it's basically 0 cost, target boss or fighter gains agility, locked behind you having at least 2 tokens and getting off 2 attacks. Seems great. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Like, and the art is crazy. This guy's just, and I think that's Skell. I can never remember this guy's name. He's right here. Yeah, Skell. Okay, I did remember that guy's name. Cool. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this. It's pretty cool to have agility on stuff that doesn't have it, because that means they weren't necessarily built with, I mean, they were because of Mystery Meat, but they might not exactly be like what your opponent's expecting to have agility. It's only this level, but if you can make it have impact, it can be very good. Especially if there's like an attack effect, like when this attacks, do this, that sort of thing. I mean, Ryle, for example, in Shifters, but that's going to end up killing Ryle if he attacks twice, so. Unless you could heal him first, Anyways. I really like this art. I actually looked up what does a rope-a-dope mean. And it's this thing in the wrestling game, the like wrestling sports fighting. And I've probably seen like
probably 4 wrestling matches in my entire life. It's just not necessarily my thing. Nothing against it. I just haven't watched a lot of it. But 3 tokens for a response. Oh, I was talking about what it means. So what is a rope-a-dope? I have never heard of that. So when one of the wrestlers is like beating down on one of their opponents and they got him on the rope, the person that's getting beaten up, they can kind of be catching their breath, taking the hits like in a smart way so they don't get like hurt really bad. And so they're able to just come back after they've caught their breath, and their opponent was just beating them senseless against the ropes. But they were getting their energy back and they come back with a full smash. So in this case, I guess Just Elias was getting attacked by this bat guy, and he comes back with this huge punch, knocks one of the fangs right out of the bat. Crazy. Additionally, what does this card actually do in the game? And I think they kind of nailed the flavor if they were going for like a rope-a-dope thing, from what I understand of a rope-a-dope. Target boss or fighter gains 2 health. And just like ends the sentence, begins a new one. Target boss or fighter gains +3 attack this turn. The way I understand it, you could have it on 2 different targets. So you can heal your boss and then buff up one of your things. And then you just got attacked, presumably. So then you can go ahead and attack with a huge attack, and your boss is in a more secure position. Or vice versa. You can buff up your boss for a big attack so you know they're not going to remove it when they get an opportunity, and heal up one of your fighters, maybe an enforcer, maybe a blocker, or both on the same target. So pretty versatile, nice like drain damage kind of type of spell, but it's a response. Yeah, it seems really good actually. If you think about it, it's maybe like a heal 2, deal 3 damage for 3, which sounds a lot better. And depending on if that, we were just talking about agility. I don't know if you'd want to spend 2 spells on it, but you're kind of gaining extra value if you combine this with Mystery Meat. So, seems pretty interesting. Also, just to say, the art is amazing. I love like the subtlety of the yellow on Just Elias's like overall / coverall things. The penciling is just beautiful. It looks amazing. Excellent work to Price Jones. Okay, let's see what we got next. Sharp Reflexes. This is one of my favorite cards. Okay, so what does it do? Just a real quick note on the art here. It looks like Sky is deflecting 3 shurikens at the same time with an axe. Amazing. That is some sharp reflexes. And we know who's throwing those shuriken most likely. It's the Van Houten Lyra Silken Assassin. At least we can assume that's her because she does that with that weapon. It's interesting that Sky is fighting the Van Houten. Okay, or at least Lyra. Okay, so it's a response for 2 tokens, and it says stop target boss or fighter's attack and deal 2 damage to that boss or fighter. Sweet. It's just like the what is it called? Scrap shields that does this for 1 but doesn't do any damage. You could be taking that unit out, progressing towards defeating that boss. Really good stuff. Really good. I think it's worth the extra cost. And if you have a deck that wants to kind of control when and where your opponent's attacking, you could run this and maybe even, 3 copies of Scrap Shield too. Nope, we're done with these ones. Go back to uncommons. And the last one. Okay. I find this card quite fascinating. I like that it's capable of giving some defensive like buff. All right, what are we talking about? Level 4, it's a weapon. It's called Makeshift Shield. It's 2 wield cost with +0 attack, and it enters wielded. The wielder has armor 1 and response tap block. Amazing. This is pretty cool. It's kind of high in level, but it comes wielded, and then your opponent has to suddenly deal with knowing that one of your units can block. This is a really good way of spreading damage around your units, so you can heal them with Mr. Purple or Lacey Bonesaw Healer. Yeah, so you can pass this around as your units get lower and closer to death. Your armor's constantly, you're getting use out of it. You're putting it hopefully on units that can kind of survive taking a hit or two. So that seems really good. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go ahead and send me a like and a subscribe, or throw me a like and a subscribe. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time as well. Yeah. So it's kind of weird how I recorded these. Just a side note at the end here. It's kind of weird how I recorded these. This ended up being my last recording. So you might be asking yourself, if you got this late in the video, what's the next objective here? So I'll just chat real quick and tell you what the plan is, or at least prospective plans. This is, I don't have my notes on me at the moment. But I guess I could go get them. But anyways, I got a couple ideas. One, remember that video I did a few days ago or several days ago, where I talked about how you can turn the token decks, or not the token decks, the token decks. What does that even mean? The sample print and play decks from the Kickstarter website. That I just printed out a bunch of them. I think it was like 3 copies of each of the packs, cut them apart, and built 2 decks out of them. I actually just played for the first time with them, which was fun. I got my butt handed to me, but it was still a good time. I learned a lot, kind of figured more out about the game. It ended up like it was only one, so very small sample size, but it ended up just being like we kept destroying each other's fighters and then slowly pinging in for damage and then more destruction. So interesting, but it was a difficult battle too. I made a bunch of mistakes, so but yeah, so I want to make the other half of that, the other deck I built, but I've been holding off. One, because I wanted to get all this posted, all of the different, set reviews and stuff. Additionally, I wanted to, yeah, that's actually the only reason. But so that's gonna be the next plan. I'll do the other deck that I haven't done yet for the print and play, which you can access on their Kickstarter site. Just go to Play Your Way and keep scrolling until you see print and play, and just print however many of those packs you want, whether it's 2 different ones, 1 copy each, all 4, multiple, so you can build decks. Yeah, so that's an option there. Okay, and that's also what my video is going to be about. Other deck techs, I don't have any cards yet except for the ones I printed out. Now I did see on Discord, and I don't know exactly the rules on this, but I've seen people like talking about how they have a file where you can print and like for playtest at home only purposes, kind of play that. Now, I don't know if that's within the rules or how exactly you're supposed to go about that, or even if I can show that in a video. So I'll have to ask. But one thing I've been thinking about doing is like tier lists and just like finding out how to sort the cards, like by mana or by like level, and by like we just make a bunch of tier lists. Maybe one tier list for the factions, but I don't know if I want to break it down by faction since we already have these broken down by faction. We could just do it by like type and cost or like something like that. I also have been trying to figure out, I've been brainstorming what kind of creative display I want to do for that contest to win one of the metal cards, which would be fun to try for. And also considering doing some like more like camera actual stuff versus just on screen. But ironically, with the deck thing, I think it would be easier to do it on screen until I get a camera. I could try to use my phone, but I don't know how to do that yet. I'll have to look that up. Anyways, I've held you up for long enough. Have a great day, and thank you again.